Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I think the first thing that I should address is the date this video is going to be released because I didn't because it's supposed to be released around New Year's. Uh, I did record like half the video in my defense, but I was super unenergetic and considered it a chore at that time, so I decided no, suddenly I care about the content that I put out, so I'll record now. At the time of recording this, it is 8th of January 2023. Happy New Year! I don't know when I will upload this because there will be some extra editing this time. It is 10:21 p.m. I have eaten, I have drunk water, I have eaten chocolate, I showered, and I'm very energetic, my man. So, a few notes before we begin. As you may have noticed written in front of you, it will mostly be in order of me watching them. Not quite. I will let you know when the time comes for the little jumps, but it's mostly in proper order. Also, don't fucking giggle! Sorry, my sister's in the room. Say hi. Hi. She giggled. Anyway, two more things. I have made and maintained my anime list account. This will be linked in the description. You can go check it out. There you'll see more updated ratings. Oh, sorry, TikTok opened. I forgot I had the finger scan on my phone. More updated ratings, especially to like the first the animes from the first video. Also, you can see what I'm currently watching. Yes, come be friends with me. I have only one friend and I don't know them. Lastly, a note about this year, about 2022, anime wise, not in general. I don't want this video to be 5 hours long. I watched a lot of anime, 35 to be exact. And I felt kinda guilty because I thought most of them were like shorter anime, but that's not the case. They're still in the minority. I have watched 28 normal length anime and 7 shorter. Also, I'm super busy. It is an impressive number for my standards. So let's begin. I see the future panels and they feel like they've been eons away. So let's begin. Sorry for the long intro. First up, we've got Diabolik Lovers. We have a very strong start. I first came in contact with this vile disease when I was like 13, and it was really cool back in the day amongst my two other friends and I because those are the only people that talked about anime when I was 13, and I watched it then when I was 13. It basically aims for that demographic either way. And I rewatched it now for fuck's sake. It is terrible. It's very bad, and there's this romanticization of rape culture, abusive relationships and such. The only characters that I don't wanna say like that I tolerated and didn't groan whenever they came on screen were the ones that least did it. Um, the main character is so annoying. She serves, kinda like the Bella from Twilight character, where she's supposed to be a blank slate, for you to be in, but she's so fucking annoying, and she just stands there. And I don't know, in many situations you cannot do a lot, but it was annoying, and she kept moaning all the time. It was super annoying, obviously. Also, obviously, as I said before, most of the characters are so fucking stupid and creepy. This guy right there, this is the worst character I have ever seen in anime. I hate him so much, very much. Also, lore-wise, there is basically none. There are like 12 episodes in each season. There are 2 seasons, but the episodes are like 10 minutes long. And the first 10 episodes are main character gets basically raped. They don't have actual sexual content. They just suck their blood because they're vampires. But like everybody's horny. And in the last 2 episodes, they try to put a lore there that doesn't make sense really, and it sucks. 4 out of 10. Also, I watched this in dub while doing chores because I always have an anime for dub for when I do something mundane and just want background noise. And I would, space out, didn't really pay too much attention to it. And they were moaning like all the time. And I specifically remember I was alone in the house, and for some reason at like 11 p.m. Oh, sorry. Oh, yawn. Oh, yeah. At 11 and something p.m. I decided to cut some permissions to dry because they are really good. If you dehydrate them, they taste like cotton candy for some reason. And I sat on the kitchen table, not kitchen, I'm not going to explain my room, in my living room, and I was cutting up the parmesans, and they were moaning, and it's right next to the wall. Anyway, 4 out of 10, it sucks. Next up we have our Oni.
続いてまず状況を把握するために点呼を取りましょう。1、2、3、4、5。
As I have said before, I was a big fan of RPG horror games when I was really young. Not really, yeah, for a big period of my life, honestly. I was a bit older than 13. It was way later than Diabolik Lovers part of my life. I wasn't even a big fan of that then. Anyway, we've moved on, we're better now. Anyway, the game that Aon is based from is from 2004, so it's as old as my sister. That she thumbs up. It is an actual horror game, the game. Now, this isn't really horror. There's some spooky elements, but it's basically comedy, which is a very weird turn. But I don't mind. There are some really good hidden jokes there, despite its age. I'm not sure when the animation came out. Anyway, also each episode is like 3 minutes long, but if you cut the intro and the outro, which I remember that I really liked, I don't remember what I liked, what happened, and I remember that I did like it. There's like a minute of actual content. It's cute. There's also a CGI film about the game. I haven't watched it. I don't really care for Aoni franchise. And I thought back in the day that, speaking about RPG horror games, it was one of the weakest because I was really big fan of Mad Father, which that in retrospective isn't that great, but Anyway, it's a 6 out of 10. It's alright. I didn't expect a lot out of it, considering that I read that it was horror and comedy. I don't regret watching it. As I said sometime in the past videos, if it's above 10, I don't regret watching it, and I do in some degree recommend it. So it's a 6 out of 10. Next up we've got Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's very underground. I don't know if you've know of it. I understand why people fucking love it. It was great, man. I really liked it. It definitely had its flaws, but in general, I really liked it. I knew of it before I started watching it. There's a good chunk of surrealism involving animation and the plot, mostly the plot, especially the ending. The plot and the sub stories also I really liked. The characters felt real enough, but also alien enough. So no, it's kind of weird. It's not the feeling that you can get into the characters' shoes with their flaws and psychological issues. But it's like bird watching. You can see from afar and fully understand it, but you cannot step in their shoes, in my opinion, but not in a negative way. Yes. Also, the way of watching Neon Genesis Evangelion franchise is kinda weird in the sense that there's the series that I think has like 26 episodes. There's a movie that has the recap of half the series with brand new animation and scenes and stuff. There's another movie that half of it, now that's all from memory, I might be wrong, that half of the movie is like a recap of the series, and the ending, the later half, is happening at the same time as the last couple episodes of the series. If you go and watch it, you'll understand why. And that finishes the plot line, I guess. And there are another 3 or 4 movies that are a retelling of the story, but at some point, I think it happens in the second movie, there's a slight twist in how the story goes, and it changes fucking everything. And I really liked the movies. They're just called Evangelion, and I think sorry, you saw the mouse there. And I think they are way better. The animation is way better for sure, but also the characters are way better. I really liked Shinji, the main character, and I really wanted to like him in the series, but there were some flaws that were off-putting. As I say in my notes, the hospital scene, fucking nightmare. But in the I preferred his character development and the rest of the characters, honestly, from the Evangelion movies. And also this year, I think there will be another version of the last movie, which is by far my favorite. And I hope I can watch it on the cinemas, because the company that we have in the city that I study in, and the company the cinema company, I mean, that we have in my hometown, are different. And in the company, the cinema company in the city I study actually plays anime movies. Last year, from what I've looked, because at some point and later I looked, they played the One Piece movie and the Dragon Ball movie. So I hope they play the Neon Genesis Evangelion movie, and I'm going to go watch it. So for Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's a 10 out of 10. I sincerely understand why it's a classic. It's very very good. The only thing that I would like to be fixed, if it would be remade, for example, if it was the first time that they made it, it would be to have a more comprehensive relationship between the series and the movies. But that's all. It was kind of confusing, but I just googled a guide and I learned. Also, there's no R in there, I'm sorry. I have a Ray Plus and I love her. Ray is that blue haired girl on your right. I had to remember which is right and which is left. Okay, moving on then. We have Cowboy Bebop. And
the bird will be hunted by this woman. And then death.
I was killed once before.
Another classic, another really good anime. Way shorter than I expected. Because of its age and because of its popularity, I assumed that it would be way longer, like, something like Gintama, like over 100, 200 episodes. But I came across it on Netflix and it was, 26, I think, episodes. And I think there's a movie. I haven't watched the movie yet. I keep forgetting about it. But anyway, we're talking about series here. Unless we're talking about something else anyway. Honestly, since it is an old anime, and that goes about Neon Genesis Evangelion as well, I can see how much not only anime as a genre of animation has changed, but also how much these, titans, let's say, have contributed to the field of it. Because, and when it comes to Cowboy Bebop, especially, the music or some tropes, have really, touched not only anime but fan-made projects that I had no idea that had any relationship with Cowboy Bebop, and more Western made stuff. If you know that tower scene with that music. I've seen it done by 3 different fandoms when I was younger, and I was questioning, oh, everybody's copying that other guy, but no, they were copying from a very famous anime, and it's not copying, but the all the episodes are kinda filler-like, but not in the bad way. It makes sense plot-wise. There's an overall story connected by the episodes, mostly the midway, in quotation marks, special, and the last few episodes, the finale. I really liked the characters, although they had a room for improvement and more fleshing out, but then again, it's not always needed. It could have dragged the story, I guess. Not bad, but it's not that I wouldn't say no to more. Yes, the ending felt a bit rushed, to be honest. The finale, it was fitting with, the themes and the story. It was kind of dissatisfying for me. I preferred the midway, I don't want to say adventure, it doesn't make sense, plot line. Yeah. Also about Cowboy Bebop, there's some really great representation, especially, of course, of people of color, but also of LGBTQ. So yeah, and it's not done in a way that points a finger at it and says, "Oh look, we've got representation." It's another character like the rest, which I appreciate always. It's a 9 out of 10. It could have easily been a 10 out of 10 if only the ending left a bigger impact on me. But in my heart it could be a 10. It's not. Yeah, yes. Yes. Moving on, we've got To Your Eternity.
僕もここを出ようと思う。いろんな人に会っていろんなことを感じたいんだ。きっと悪いこともあるだろうけど、それでも僕は世界を知りたいんだ。
When I heard about this anime, I heard it off of TikTok the last time before I watched it. And somebody said, I don't know when it came out. The TikTok was after the first episode aired, and I watched it way later, I guess. And it said, yes, it's gonna be the best anime of the season. I already love that anime and stuff. And I think that's a bit too much. You cannot tell from the first episode if you're gonna love it or not, I guess. But then I watched the first episode and I understood. It consists of 20 episodes, and every 5 episodes you will cry. It will pull the carpet under your feet. You will fall, you will break your head, and you will cry. And you will think about it 3 days later and cry some more. It's obviously not afraid of showing emotional scenes that would make you, uncomfortable and, make you want the thing you watch not to happen. And it isn't afraid to get gory, which I've realized a lot of newer animes, I don't know, really aren't afraid to, show a dead body and actually looking dead and not just without the sign in their eyes. Anyway, which I appreciate really, it really deepens the impact. There are a lot of twists that I really liked. The direction it took really speaks to me, and the archetype it follows, boy discovers world, etc, etc. I can't wait to cry. I think the second season is airing right now. I don't have the time to really watch it right now, but I will soon enough. It's a 10 out of 10. It's fucking amazing. It's really worth a watch. And I wish more people talked about it. I've watched a bunch of good anime this year. Just so you know, there's gonna be a lot of 10s out of 10s. Speaking of 10 out of 10, Mob Psycho 100.
だが強大すぎる力は使い方を誤れば己の身を滅ぼす。
My sister. Hi, I'm talking about you. Pay attention.
Okay.
Okay. My sister really told me to watch it, and she was really passionate about it.
Haikyuu?
Mob Psycho.
Okay.
She asked if it was Haikyuu. Haikyuu was last year. last year. A lot of the characters have supernatural abilities. They are psychics, as you can tell from the title. It really focuses more on daily life, most of the anime, that is, most of the episodes. And you know how that little autistic boy goes through the world. Everyone in this universe has autism, and I fucking love it, man. It's more about solving everyday problems, figuring life out, but not in the same way that the To Your Eternity does it. You know, more everyday slash of lifey kind of stuff. It's very funny. I'm not the biggest fan of anime humor because sometimes it's super cringe, especially in some very specific genres, which is like isekai, or I'm not a big fan of isekai as well. Or I don't remember the name of the genre. It's Bunny Girl Senpai kind of anime. Anyway, really funny, really cool. The animation, amazing, especially in the finales. Amazing. There's the surrealism, part of it. It's really cool. And I love all the characters. They are amazing. Ragged baby girl, he won everything this year as well, right before the queen died. Yeah. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. Also, sorry if you hear clicking. I post the video to swallow my saliva. Next up, we've got Sk8 The Infinity. I watched it in one day in dub though. I've watched it in one day. I really don't do that in general. As a wise woman once said, gay. Again, not the biggest fan of sport anime. Because most of them, they consider the sport as basically its own deity, that, oh, I'm gonna play volleyball or I'm gonna cut my fucking veins. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. And yeah, the plot was alright. I liked the finale. The plot was alright, but I mostly liked the characters interacting with each other. Yeah, it was cool. It was pretty cool. I can't wait for season 2. Also going to happen way before fucking... Never mind, I was gonna spoil for the rest of the list. Never mind, I never talked. I really like the characters because each one was unique. They weren't interchangeable with each other in the way they acted on the plot and, teaching the children. They had the protagonists, the guys you see out of the poster, have a really good chemistry with each other. They are both autistic. That red-haired guy, I don't remember his name, has probably ADHD too. You can say it out loud.
His name is Reiki.
It won't pick up.
Okay, you say it.
Reiki?
Reiki.
The ADHD guy is Reiki. I still don't get that meme with the fucking palm trees. But whatever. It's an 8.5 out of 10. Really good, really cool. Nothing groundbreaking, but really fun to watch. Next up, we've got Ranking of Kings.
耳も聞こえないし口も聞けない。あれが次の王様だと思うと不安になるよ。
Fucking amazing. That's the groundbreaking shit. I was watching this as it was coming out actually. And that period I was also watching as they were coming out. Think Attack on Titan and what's that other? Demon Slayer season 2 episodes, and they were kinda grim, not gonna lie, fam. And I actually began to watch this because my best friend came to stay with me for a couple nights, and we were watching 91 Days. I had to pause to check when I presented 91 Days. And it was kind of dark at some point. I told you, hey, you wanna start this? I saw it on TikTok and it looks very lighthearted and cute and wholesome. It's not that, it is that, but it's also quite heavy, man. It's fantasy. It's not isekai because I don't like isekai. It's fantasy. There's a lot of fighting and there's a lot of uncomfortable situation and situations you feel bad about the main character. He's mute, so he can only communicate, and he's also deaf. And you know, people don't treat him very good. There's some family situations there. It's very, very good. It's like it has that aspect from Game of Thrones where you know you one episode you really like that character and the next one you hated him. It's kind of the opposite. uh, you really hate that character, then you learn a little bit of backstory and you're like, oh no, a poor soul. And you know it's really really good because the protagonist serves as that unbeatable good and innocence in people. And anyway, it's really good. It's amazing with its themes. It has some very cool twists, some very nice designs. It's very stylized. The animation is so smooth. It's great. It's great. It's really worth a watch, and I really don't see a lot of people talking about it, and it's a pity because it's really really good. So it's a 10 out of 10. Next up we've got All Saints Straight.
そうなのか。大丈夫さ。
As you can see, I've been kinda laconic with my description with this one because there's not a lot to say. It's cute, it's simple, but you know, each episode is like 4 minutes long, and there's limited, of course, lore within those 4 minutes when there's lore. The characters also have a nice variety, although I wish we would see less of some and more of others. But they play well off each other, and it's nice for a little break, I guess, because you know you can watch it in one day, despite the fact that it has like 3 seasons. There's really not a lot to say. There is some lore, but it's not impactful to me. It's good for passing the time. So it's a 7 out of 10. Next up we've got a problem. It's been 10 days since my last recording, and this is actually the 6th attempt I made within those 10 days to continue this video. You may wonder what happened for the past week, the week that passed. My computer decided that it didn't want to work. It was up to the point where if I turn it off, off, and wanted to turn it back on, I had to wait for 2 hours. So that's amazing. Also, I'm in the middle of exams, so that's a thing. And then there are chores I had to do. I had to go out at some points because I usually record at night where it's quieter. Right now it's 1 p.m. PM, yeah. 1 at noon. Okay? either way, that was our problem. Also, that wouldn't be such a big deal in general, but I lost half the footage that had recorded 10 days ago. There were other recordings that I made, but I was super pissed. I was talking too loud and I couldn't speak. Now I'm feeling better. I've done everything that I can about the sound, but there's a fly inside the house. I have opened half the windows for it to get out. I hope it doesn't leak into the recording. Anyway, I'm living in a kinda rural. A lot of R's and a lot of L's confuse me. So I do live in a rural kinda area. Anyway, that was the mini update. Let's continue. Next up we've got the case study of Vanitas.
この本を手にした者は私と同じ青き光を総合に宿しやがて全てのヴァンピールを滅ぼす死神となるだろう
Keep in mind, at this point I have talked about it like 4 to 5 times. Okay, sometimes I also call it the study case of Vanitas. I don't know why. So if I do say that, I am sorry. First and foremost, the first thing that I noticed while watching the series is that it has a steampunk aesthetic. Something very rarely seen in modern media, especially more mainstream stuff, because I think it's kinda hard to pull off and to have a good length of it, not like a movie. So I greatly appreciate that fact, because I think steampunk in general and its derivatives are great and it's good to see them. The focus gets lost as the episodes move on, but you know, it is there. It's not like you forget it's steampunk. But along with steampunk, there's a Victorian aesthetic that you know, is great. It pairs up with steampunk, but it has more focus later on. There is an excellent selection of characters, but while I do love most of the characters and the ones I didn't like when I first started watching Vanitas, I did grow to like them. They don't interact that much with each other as I would like. And there's an anime later on that does that. I will tell you when the time comes. And yeah, I like the characters, but I wish more of them interacted with other characters. It's not like, okay, the two main protagonists don't interact, they do. But I wish, you know, the ones that interact mostly with person A also interacted more with person B, you know? Also, the fucking clothing is amazing, might I add. Especially the guy. I think I like guys' clothings more. And I say that because I drew some stickers as a gift with the main characters of Vanitas, and I really paid attention. They're really interesting clothes. That's it. And they match the characters. Now about the pacing. As you can see, I found it kinda slow. But I want to add that in general, when watching anime, I prefer the per season, those that have length about 12 episodes rather than those that have 24 or 26. I'll just group them all in 24 just for it to be easier to explain. That's because I find the anime that have about 24 episodes per season tend to move way slower, obviously, because I have tea in front of me, I have my glasses, I have water because I'm dehydrated. have my phone. Yeah, because most of the time it's about the same amount of lore, just stretched in more episodes, and there are I want to say gaps, but it's not gaps. In the lore where things are way slower, and sometimes that is welcome, but I don't know, I didn't care for it. There are anime that I have to push myself to watch because I know it gets better later on, but and this was one of them. It's probably going to be in the 2023 anime video, but right now I am watching an anime that is 26 episodes long, and in nowhere the plot felt less interesting than the episode before, for example. Another note that I'd like to add is that it really builds up the relationship between the two main characters. It's these two, by the way. In the point of romance, you know how these anime are, that they have a really homoerotic relationship, but they're just great friends, and it's a grey area. But the dark-haired protagonist called Vanitas has a canon romantic relationship with a girl, which on itself it's not bad, of course, but they have way less chemistry, in my humble opinion. Especially in the first season, it felt very, very forced. I don't know how is it in the manga, because I know somebody, because when I talk about it in real life, in general about anime, not about Vanitas, they say, but in the manga, I don't care. This is an anime review video. They have way less chemistry. That's all. You were good, the case study of Vanitas. I'm waiting for you to be great. It has a lot of potential, and I feel right now that at the end of season 2 that the plot unravels properly. So it's a 8.5 out of 10, but I could easily see it be a 9.5 for me. Moving on, we have given an
この時鳴らしたコードがまずかったんだ。俺にそれの弾き方を教えてください。
absolute classic, of course. What I said about before, that they have a homoerotic relationship, but they are just great friends. It doesn't happen here. There are canon LGBTQ characters, I think. I know the main cast, they are all either bisexual or questioning or homosexual or gay. Which is a very refreshing thing to see. Because it's a kind of an oldies anime, it's not, it didn't come out, last year. And it's very, very nice to see. It didn't feel baity, queer baiting. Oh, they're gay because we want representation. It's not like that. Okay, it came out in 2019. I thought it was way older, but still. But still. Also really liked the characters. They were passive and they felt realistic. They acted the way, real people do. I know, very surprising when it comes to anime. Which is also nice to see. But it was kind of a double-edged sword, because at some points they were very blunt, the anime especially, not just the characters. And I wish it was quicker, because it doesn't have a lot of episodes. It would be cool. There's the anime and there's the movie. If they fused the movie and the what happens in the movie and what happened in the series with a few minor fixes, I think it would really blend well. because the movie I think happens after the series, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's it. You know, it's not one of those anime that I would rewatch. But it's not definitely it's not bad. It's an 8 out of 10. Next up, we've got also not minus, a tiny minute parenthesis here. The recording so far is going great. My computer has decided to work today. To give you an example of what was happening, it was happening for like 5 days. Every time an action happens somewhere, for example, I wanna change panels in my PowerPoint and went Vanitas, for example, it would pop up, it would freeze, it would not respond, and for like a couple of minutes it would stay like that. And most of the times all of my programs would crash. My computer had a blue screen once or twice within the last month. So I don't know. I mean, it's a kinda old computer. I have it charged all the time. Plugged in, because the wire is kinda busted and it only sometimes charges anyway. I think that's a problem. You don't care. Next up, I cannot concentrate, okay? Next up we've got Shigurui Death Frenzy.
キャツね天品がありよう。いい。キャツをただで救たれ者にござる。こいつら何の間違いだ。
Okay, here's the deal. I've read 2 whole manga this year, and it was later on, honestly. But one of the 2 manga I've read was the manga of Shigurui, and I'm a really big fan of it in general. First of all, oh fuck, the fly. Jesus. There's a lot of humidity, so we have a lot of bugs. Anyway, first of all, when it comes to censorship and ratings in media, I think a lot of times it's very exaggerated, and things that should be rated way lower, in my opinion obviously, are rated 18 plus and stuff. But in this case, fam, it deserves the title of 18 plus, and a lot of even mainstream movies or horrors or gory stuff in general pale in comparison. So if you are going to watch it, keep in mind there's a lot of heavy subjects, there's a lot of gore, it doesn't shy away from a lot of cruelty. So again, if you wanna watch it, keep this in mind. The story itself, because of its tone, its heavy and dark tone, keeps you always on your toes. There is, a lot of things are happening. It's not one of those, at the beginning, I begin my travel, I travel, end of travel. There's a lot of things happening in between. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, it's really exciting always. It has kind of refreshing air. There's a lot of little adventures, let's say, and they connect to the overall plot. To put it in a very childish way. It is, as I said, dark. Sometimes you couldn't see though. And as I said in my notes, it's kind of misogynistic at times, but it could be because of the era, and it's probably because of the era. Because I read the manga after I wrote this review. Because there are a woman that comes to mind, that is, strong and kills your ass. Anyway, I think there are 84 chapters, so it's relatively small. and the anime covers about up to the 30th chapter, I think. If you're going to read the manga, I suggest you read it whole, because there are some details that are not in the anime, but the anime itself is a very faithful adaptation. And I keep pausing because I wanna take sips of my tea, by the way. Yeah, the adaptation is very faithful, and again, not just the manga, but the anime itself doesn't shy away from showing the cruelty. I had made a list, but it's now not saved for whatever reason, with what happened, but some things that I remember is rape every second episode. Of course, extreme gore, decapitation. There are a lot of decapitation, but I don't remember what is in the anime. Λοιπόν, not the Greek. Heavier stuff. Rape. Suggested child rape. Suggested pedolatria, which is, you admire kids in the sexual way. Adultery, which is not that big of a deal. There's this guy that wants to force a lot of people to have sex with his daughter, and his daughter doesn't want to. Also, the thing that broke me and disgusts me so much. Okay, I will gag while saying this, because I have gagged the previous 4 times I attempted to say it, so trigger warning, I guess. This is your list of your worries. Okay, there's this guy that is supposedly the sidekick of the main good guy, the morals are kinda grey. And that guy with the daughter that I said, it's a different guy. That guy's wife committed adultery with another guy. And the sidekick guy was commanded to punish the wife, but okay, one of her nipples, and not just the BBB, the E tip, all the red, was burnt off. And in the I can't, man, it raises my hair everywhere. And on the other teeth, he cut off the nipple. It bled, obviously, but that's not important. And the motherfucker ate it. I don't remember if he chewed or not, but that's not it. That's so gross. So gross. So it's a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Because I in general like to see violence on animated media. Wait, let me check something, because I was about to say some spoilers. Okay, never mind. What I will say is that it pales in comparison to a very popular anime that I watched later on this year that is supposedly gory, but that felt like child play. I'll let you know when it comes. So it's a 9 out of 10. Slay. I strongly suggest also reading the manga. But I wanna be that girl that says manga is everything. Next up we've got Please Save My Earth.
Their destinies linked together by love and loss.
First of all, I apologize for the image because it's not in the same dimensions that the rest are, and it bothers me a lot, but I couldn't find another high definition image. And I checked the video, obviously, because I am editing also, the quality of this video, and see it, but I cannot help it. This is as good as it can go. So Please Save My Earth. It has that, as you can see, it has that very detailed 80s, 90s anime art style, which I really, really love. a lot of details, a lot of, and it's not just about the flowers, for example, because you could say, oh, that's not in the anime, and I'm like, okay, cool, but you know, all these strands and the lightning, you know, or the hair, or the thing of fabric, you know, it has a lot of detail, and and you cannot see it that often today as you did then. Also, the quality of anime has changed a lot, and I don't mean it has lowered. It has lowered in some aspects, but it has very much heightened in others, and it will come to my last review where I'll express more about that. The story itself is mature, it's handled respectfully, and there's no unnecessary humor in it, or you know, humor. You know, I think I think you understand. It really is attention grabbing in a great way, and considering its length, it's like 6 episodes long. It's small, it's short. I think it's amazing. It really handles its runtime well most of the time. For example, what I want to say about the maturity of the situation and the story. There's this one character that we see very little of, that is questioning his sexuality, or their sexuality. And maybe the gender, I don't remember, it's been a very long time since I watched it. And it's handled seriously, it's not, of course, not homophobic, and it's great. It's very, very great. The one of the two things that I didn't enjoy at the very end, and that's because of the runtime, is that a lot of things are left unexplored. For example, as you can assume from the title, something is troubling Earth. And we don't really know why. I mean, when I finished it, I didn't understand why Earth was in some serious danger. It's suggested in the beginning about humans' pride and hubris, dare I say, a wonderful Greek word, might I add. So I don't know if it because it's cancelled or something, but yeah, I think it would be great if it was a 12 episode anime. Now there are a lot of twists, and for my next point, I suggest you you either listen me now or go and watch it and listen afterwards to understand what I'm about to say, because I'll say things that without context don't make sense. Or you can do both. You can listen me now and then revisit this video, because there will be chapters, so you can say, oh, please save my earth, it's right here. Anyway, there is a 9-year age gap between the main lovers. But there is a reason in the plot for that. But it's still awkward because the younger guy, the boy, is 7 years old. The girl, which is 16, doesn't quite answer to his feelings, which you know is good. And if something happened, it would really ruin my view for this anime. But yeah, if I can just ignore that, I would be happy. Yeah, so it's a 7 out of 10 for me. It really ruined the fucking age gap, and the fact that he's 7 really ruins it for me. And it started out really strong, it finished strong, but not as strong, you know. But still, lovely. I suggest it. I greatly suggest because it's not talked about enough. Next up, we've got... Come on, move babes. Yes, Slade, that was my mistake. I'm sorry for not switching faster. We have Tokyo Revengers.
俺、駅のホームから線路に落ちてさ、死んだと思って気づいたら12年前の自分になってた。
竹道くんはタイムリープしたことで、今を変えたんです。
The plot is amazing, it's great, and from what I expected, it was way more complicated in a good way though. This is the opposite of what I said in Vanitas, that we don't see a lot of characters interacting with each other, but here we see a variety of relationships, as well as moments and atmosphere which keeps it, refreshing and which keeps it fresh rather and enjoyable. Now I wanted to add that I put off Tokyo Revengers for a while. It's not a proper way to say it, but I should have started it way before now. But from what I knew about the plot, it didn't seem all that interesting. I wasn't really in the mood, but I'm very glad I did. The animation is good. The art style is kinda weird sometimes, it's kinda static, but you can get used to it, and the staticness of the anime, I mean there is not a lot of constant movements. If you go watch, for example, a Disney movie and ID Invaded, there's a difference between the still moments, how much actual movement there is, because ID Invaded has a very static animation. This on itself doesn't bother me. In Tokyo Revengers you can get used very quickly to the art style. It's not really a problem. It's a 20-something episode anime, so of course I thought some points were kinda slow, but it's not in the way that really brought it down. Now, I was conflicted when I was rating this, if I want to put it a 10 out of 10 or a 9.5 out of 10. For now, it will be a 9.5 out of 10, but considering the new season is airing now, and how much I love this anime, because I think it can reach a 10 out of 10 easily, because I have expressed it in other videos. I may love equally two anime, but what it's gonna rot my brain more afterwards, maybe one of the two, or maybe I'm rating an anime 10 out of 10 and another anime 8 out of 10. But in the end of the day, I enjoyed and I'm thinking more about the one that I rated lower. But in this case, Tokyo Revengers, it is an anime that I really hold dear. Speaking of excellent anime, next up we've got, Ninja Collection.
Define something as a piece of quality. When talking about media, more specifically animated media, what would definitely not get a rating like this? But at the same,
this is the best video I've ever watched. Anyways, yeah, I've talked about it before. It's a 2 out of 10. It sucks. It's a 2 out of 10 because my sister made me say why. It gets 1 point from being so bad it's hilarious, and it gets another point because it's so short in runtime. That's all. Next up, we've got Nanbaka.
なあなあはじめちゃん、誰か可愛い子とか面会に来てない？
来てねえよ。
Speaking of hilarious, it was great. I'm not the biggest fan. Comedy isn't my favorite genre, but it's well made. And what really saved the rating for me, because I really liked it before, was the fact that, especially the first season, at the midway point on, for example, I don't remember in which episode, it becomes like a straight up shonen, with the whole seriousness and stuff, the whole package though. And I really enjoyed both the comedy and the shonen parts, because I don't know how it would have worked if it was just comedy, for 2 whole seasons and with no actual plot, because the actual comedy episodes were kinda episodic, so there wasn't really a plot. Wait, I'll pause it, give me a second. I made some really good tea. It's Rubio's with lime and ginger, and I put some homemade lemon powder in it, and it's amazing. Rubio's kinda stinks to me, but it tastes really good. Anyway, the characters all were really fun. They played well off of each other, not just the main team, everyone. And they grew close to my heart, and I really like them. We are all. I don't know. I think I've heard that the manga is kinda dark, and I wanna read the manga, but it feels like it aims in a good ending. But we'll see about that. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. Really, really good, and I would really like for a few more seasons of that. I would really like to see it, finishing. Now, a parenthesis again, before we move on to the next, on the I'm sorry, I'm having a stroke again. On the first days of July of 2022, a couple days after my summer exams, to be honest, I contracted coronavirus. I am okay, I was relatively okay. But I was very alone because I had to quarantine, and I missed my family and I still couldn't see them. So I quarantined for like either 7 or 8 days, just to be sure. And I did watch a handful of anime in this period, all day. I watched like about an anime a day. So this starts the Rona Marathon. First up we've got Yuri on Ice.
ゆうちゃんに見てほしくて、試合が終わってからずっと練習してた。
Another LGBTQ plus classic. They aren't canon, but they have a lot of chemistry. Not just the main lovers, I'll call them, but also the if you've watched it, the other Yuri On. I don't know what was that sound. Not antagonistic in a rivalry way. It's very enjoyable to see. I liked the skating performances. They were intense, but near the end. Also keep in mind I was high in fever in most of this. I skipped a few near the end because I knew they wouldn't win, obviously, and also I didn't care about the characters. So yeah, I've got the endings, the important skating stuff. The ending has left me conflicted, but in a good way. I think that's no, and I think it's really important to why many people still love it so much, because it had a both satisfying and not ending. yeah. It's an 8.5 out of 10. Again, not my perfect cup of tea, but it doesn't mean that I don't like it. I really liked it. Hola, my life is acting. Next up, we've got Made in Abyss.
深海1層軽いめまい深海2層吐き気と頭痛末端のしびれ深海4層全身に激痛流血深海6層から人間性の喪失もしくは死に至る
A new favorite. I love it so much. So much. It's in my top 3 favorites. I think it's in the second position. It has a reputation online that despite its cutesy art style, it's really dark and gruesome, and that it really was. And I was really into it, because I've expressed, a little bit before that I like dark subject matters. There is, especially in the first season, this anime has one of the best creature designs I have ever seen when it comes from a bigger studio and not from a single person, because I don't need you understand. It specifies, I think, mostly in survival and body horror, mainly body horror, especially in the main plot, and it really complements the story, and I think that it definitely doesn't shy away from showing, again, nasty things, but it also mixes with wholesome stuff, or heartwarming. It's a nice mix. I really liked the characters. At first I went in with the mindset that it's just gonna be a gore fest anime, but I was surprised when I learned that they're lovable characters and how much this fucking anime manipulates your heart. It's a 10 out of 10. I love it so much. It's amazing. And with everyone that I've talked about it, they're amazing too. So that means that you gotta watch it now. Next up then, we've got, I'm still in the Rona period, I'll tell you when it finishes. Land of the Lustrous.
こちらは28名。
This is actually the second manga I've read this year in its entirety, and I will let you know more about it in a bit after I've done with what I've written. What made me to put it in my immediate watch list, because of course I'm full of lists, just so you know. The TikTok actually spammed me with edits, with spoilers, not just with the anime, with the manga too. Yeah, and I was intrigued. I mean, I had heard of it, and I did want to watch it, but it was a good way to start it. I'm gonna ignore from here to here. No, I'll say it. In the anime itself, it's only one season as of now, and I'm really hopeful that they will make another one. The gears of the story just started to turn. The manga has, I think, right now, at this very point, has 99 chapters. The anime covers about 20. So not a lot of things are happening. I'm really interested in the way that the protagonists reacted and the path they chose. I will use they them pronouns for everyone, because I think that's how they used it in the anime, but in the manga they use, in Japanese, they use the he and she interchangeably, but mostly he. Anyway, I will call them they them. I found that in the anime again, the way the protagonist first reacted was common, but it was charming because they had a childlike attitude in general. And you know, there's this question that he tries to answer. Wait, what does he belong? Where does he belong? That do they? I should be ashamed. Do they belong? I was thinking, if you have read the manga, you know what I'll say. I was thinking of Eren Yeager. That's why I said he. Okay, full as track just passed outside. Obviously we need a lot more seasons. Season 2 when? The pace, okay, that's what I wrote. I wrote that the pace is kinda slow. But considering I've read the whole manga now, I won't say it's either fast or slow, but I wanna say that the pace is kinda different because the way everyone acts is different in general. It's not quite human, it's not quite familiar. Which is, you know, I think it's nice, I really appreciate it. But yeah, I really want more seasons. If there's no more seasons, I will stick my ass down and I'll animate it myself, man. It gets a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect. So it's a 9 out of 10, yeah, as I said, it's almost perfect. I had a TikTok break, I watched 2 TikToks. I cannot concentrate. So anyway, it's constantly on my mind, man, Land of the Lustrous. I really like it. Next up we've got Kotaro Lives Alone.
お忙しいところ申し訳ない。隣の203号室に越してきた佐藤と申す。
This one is slow. It's a slice of life anime, so nothing extraordinary happens. But it is entertaining and I didn't even think of dropping it, you know. It sounds bad, but you know how I mean it. The overall themes are the most the overall themes are what keeps it really going and what makes me ask for more. Because I'm a greedy little rat. Anyway, it has extreme mood swings. Kotaro doesn't have anger issues. It's just from silly fun, it goes to heartbreak real quick, and it has made me cry a lot of times. Just so you know. Yeah, they have a sweet, depressing tone to them. I don't know, man, how to explain. Just really worth watching. The only negative about this, because I can get over it being kind of slow, because I cannot concentrate. I could be of blame, dare I say. There's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to the art style. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, as you can see, the little boy, although he's adorable, his eyes are kind of weird, and also there's other characters, the other protagonist, he is kind of weird looking. But you know, you stick for the plot, and I think that was a point made within the series, because the other protagonist is an adult, first of all, that tries to become a manga artist, and they say that, ooh, the story is great, but the art style sucks. And you know, it could be the one that wrote the manga. Anyway, I think it's really worth watching. Yeah, I don't want to say anything else because it will be spoilers, and I don't want to spoil it because then you'll feel less. Because you need to feel this anime. You need to feel it with your heart. It's an 8 out of 10. For me, I could not say it. Yeah, it is on Netflix. I've watched it on dub. I usually watch anime on dub when I cannot concentrate to watch them on sub because that's not my problem. You know, it's not because of me. Because there's some anime that are kinda slow. So yeah, but it's really good. Really good, yes. Slay. Also, you don't know from which episode the pain will come from. It could be an episode about going to the bathhouse and suddenly, oh, I killed everyone. You know, for example. There's no murder here, as far as I know. As far as I remember. Next up, we've got the well-known Spy X Family.
同じ家族を作った3人は互いの正体を隠しながら一つ屋根の下で暮らすこととなった。
It is the best example and of an excellent mix of genres, as in comedy, action, a spy flick, American style movie, psychic abilities, family orientation anime. It's really cool. I think somebody is hunting because there's a forest very near. I don't know what they're hunting, probably birds. Anyway, it's not. It has a perfect mix, as I said, and it's to the point that not to the point. When you can get kind of tired of one little plot line, it switches and it's nice. The premise itself is not something new, but it is unique enough, and not something as common. But again, it's not like a rare, but it's unique. It brights with its own sign. Yeah, and it could be confusing, but it didn't, so good for them. Some moments are very forgettable, but you know, the moments that stick to you most are the wholesome family-oriented moments, which I think this is the main point of it's a family anime and manga. Season 2 is just finished airing. Part 2 because it's season 1 part 2, but anyway, yeah, I really love it. Yeah, that's all. There's nothing else to say because it's such a well-known anime. I don't know what else can I add to it. So it's an 8.5 from yours truly. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't exceptional. It wasn't something groundbreaking. I think the most impressive element is that it mixed the genre so well and it was an enjoyable watch. Next up, we've got Link Click.
我负责进入照片，你负责给我带路。
It's one of those that each episode has its own little story and it's overall connected with an amazing twist, might I add, at the end, how they are all connected. It's basically anime Doctor Who, which I fucking love Doctor Who, so this is good. Time travel, I don't see it taken as seriously most of the time as in this anime. I stuck for a second. And I really appreciate how the mechanic of their powers worked, the mechanism. It's more psychological. Why has the lighting changed on the screen? I don't know if it's gonna be a difference for you, but anyway. It's more psychological and feelings themed. Detective story. Detective style. They're not detectives. But they try to solve mysteries, I guess, and get information. Especially in the last few episodes. It's very entertaining to see and, solve along the mystery. I can't wait for season 2. I don't know why. Chinese, I know it's not typically anime, but I don't know why that and Heaven Official's Blessing and that takes so much time to get season 2. I need. Also, I had downloaded the episodes from a totally legal site to watch them while on vacation in my spare time, without needing internet. And I asked my sister, wanna watch it too? And she said yeah. And I knew it was kinda gay. And she asked, are you sure it's not yaoi? Because it kinda looks like yaoi. And then we Googled it with my very limited internet in my yard. And I found a thread on Reddit and a guy said, I don't know why they ship them. Yeah, I don't think he watched the same anime as we. But anyway, great. It's a 9 out of 10. I strongly recommend it because it has a very fresh feeling to it. Oh fuck! This is when I was saying, don't forget it. This is with me finishing the Spy X Family. Also my quarantine finished, and right after my quarantine we went to vacation. Okay, you get the timeline, we're in summertime, baby. Also, during my summer break, I watched Phantom in the Twilight. Which was a very refreshing break for me from good anime. It's one of those cheap and bad versions of Kami-sama Kiss, but it's not as horrendous and Diabolik Lovers. I think the demographic has entered teenagehood and they have some standards now. Most of the characters are unlikable though, very much so. Also, it didn't make sense, neither the plot nor the world building. There's so many plot holes and there was happening stuff that seemed very serious, but everybody was talking about it super chill and they weren't in a rush. Toru is my favorite character. He's the only one that makes sense in there. He doesn't talk a lot. That's because that's probably why I like him. And I liked his origin story. Yeah, it was enjoyably bad. Some spoilers. First of all, advice before the spoilers. Don't go into it expecting something serious. Don't take it seriously. Second of all, the spoilers. There's this little twist, I guess, at the end where the main bad guy is like a magician, but he sucks like magic to remain young. And okay, cool. And then we learn he is the protagonist, that girl in the middle, brother. But we do know that villain is like at least 50. No, we know he's at least 60 because he aged up. At some point 50 years and he was a fucking old man and he died. So I don't know how it worked. It really came out of nowhere. So anyway. Also, it's a 6 out of 10 and it's a very generous rating, may I add. But it has entertainment value. Now, if you go back to my Shigurui review, I said that there's this anime, this famous anime that's supposed to be very gory, and the gore is one of its main sell points, but it was rather disappointing. And that anime is Tokyo Ghoul.
I want you just as much as you want me.
It's of course a big title anime. It's extremely famous and well known. I expected more quality in general. It had some redeeming qualities, but there were very few, and it wasn't bad enough to hate it or drop it. It was extremely mediocre. And the more I talked about it with other people, watch anime, they all hate the Tokyo Ghoul anime. And everybody's wishing for a remake, and so do I. I haven't watched the re part of the anime yet, but at some point I will, but it left such a sour taste in my mouth in general. The pacing of the first season was a torture. We had, my sister and I, had to crawl through that because it was amazingly bad. Plot twist. The second season, that for some fucking reason isn't canon, like at all, was more interesting, and I really liked the ending in that, but again, the standards weren't very high. There were too many people, and there was too much screen time on people that I really didn't care about. Yeah, Kaneki fucking said, oh, I gotta power up. He maybe won like 2 fights out of 20 in the whole anime. My man, go suck a tit. Fighting isn't for you, my boy. Kaneki is the protagonist. It's a 7 out of 10. I really want to like this anime, and I really hope for a remake, because I don't know how many chapters the fucking manga is, but I don't wanna resort to manga. I deserve a good what's the name? Tokyo Ghoul anime. So it's a 7 out of 10. Next, we've got Blue Submarine number 6.
Now the remaining land dwellers wage war against the hordes of Zorndike's creation for the right to survive.
Okay, I was talking with some people again about anime, and they said to me, do you have any, mecha anime to watch for themselves? And I said, Neon Genesis Evangelion. And they said, yeah, something we don't know. Not everybody knows. So I was like, okay, sure. And I went through my mega list where I write anime that I find interesting. And I found Blue Submarine number 6. And I said, oh, that. And they said, how is it? And then I said, I haven't watched. So I decided to watch it, and I think it's like 3 episodes long. They're kinda longer episodes, but still. I thought it would be a hidden gem, honestly, and it kinda reminds me of Made in Abyss, especially with all the creatures in it. But I was very disappointed. It was very, very bad. It had a good premise, and the creature design sometimes was very good at some points. It had a pretentious attitude in general, especially with the main villain. But to me, it didn't run that deep. I'm sorry, the people above me are very noisy. It didn't seem all that deep. The action felt empty, like those stereotypical American movies. Oh, we gotta fuck the enemy. The characters were okay. I barely remember any of them. at the... Yeah, I mean, you can watch it if you want. It's really not worth my time. It wasn't worth my time. I remember at the end, there was like, oh, the main villain. Oh, people are killing the planet and there's this machine connected to my heart. And once I die, everyone will die. Or I don't know. And people are destroying nature and I lost my child somewhere and now I'm bitter. And I don't know, it didn't quite make sense. I didn't find it that good. So it's a 5 out of 10 for me and low-key generous. It's a... I think there's somebody there that would like it. And I'm kinda mad, I'm not angry, but it had potential, it could be great. But it wasn't. Yeah, I guess the animation was kinda good, and yeah, well, that's all. It's like 3 episodes long. I don't know what else to say. It wasn't that good, man. I was really disappointed because, first of all, I've met nobody that talked about it. So I thought, oh, it's gonna be a hidden gem, and it's gonna be great, and I will say, oh, it's not, nobody knows it, but it's really good, but it's not. Let me take a sip of tea. It has gone cold, but it's okay. Oh, hey, what's that? Okay, sorry about that, fam. Next up we've got Cestvs the Roman Fighter.
今日が終わり、明日が来る。そんな当たり前のことが俺たち奴隷には許されない。生きたくば勝ち抜け。それが健闘のすべて。
I'm so mad about my animalist rating on this. I don't remember it right now, but it was bad, man. I think the main thing that most people don't like it is the animation, which fair. I think it's motion capture. I'm 99% it's motion capture. In the everyday scenes, so the scenes you see most. Yeah, but I'm this type of person where I think that there are a lot of anime out there that have a good story to tell, and the animation just holds them back, and I don't like it when people say, oh, they don't like the animation. Okay, it's like 10 episodes long, you can watch it, it's okay, your eyes won't fall off. The story is kinda basic. Actually, no, wait, another thing about the animation. It starts off with a kind of flashback, or we just see the past, where it has, the traditional hand-drawn animation, and it was actually good. It wasn't bad, definitely not. And then it switches to 3D, and some flashbacks are 2D again. And I think if they kept it, 2D, it would have gotten a greater rating. It is a fighting anime. The story itself is kinda basic, but it's really nice to see. Why do they build stuff right now when I'm talking? The road outside, they do stuff and I don't like it. And I cannot keep things more quiet in here. I only have one house. Anyway, the battles are really great. They have great energy. You get really hyped, but there are also, because of the nature of the fighting, it has its calming moments where the characters can explain, oh, if you punch the dick, then the other will feel pain, I think it's done well. I'm kinda petty that it got cancelled because it had a lot of potential, and at the end it suggested there's gonna be more fighting now with a variety more characters, and it would get even better, but they decided to stop it. So it's an 8 out of 10. I don't think the score is high on this one. I think it's just fine. At some point, out of pettiness again, I put it a 9, and I was like, no. But I think 8 is a very good rating. I got kinda intense there. Next up, we've got Say I Love You.
立花、あんたって彼氏いない歴何年？友達なんていても自分が傷つくだけ。私には不必要だって。
そりゃ悪いな。
Best slice of life and romance anime I have watched ever. Full stop. Merely amazing. It wasn't boring. It was interesting. It was entertaining. It was cute. The relationship had chemistry. The characters had depth. They had compelling stories. Realistic situations. Very, very nice. The only thing that I didn't like though was at times the male protagonist apologized a bit too much, but that might be weird from my point of view because of course I have a more Western point of view in manners and relationships. So yeah, it's something that is totally passable in your mind. I thought about it for like 1 second and then yeah, it's okay, we're super cute now, it's amazing. And in some stuff I can relate with a lot of characters because you know the characters are not completely one-dimensional like other anime of the same genres. Yeah, it was a very pleasant experience and a very pleasant, you know, break from, first of all, more action-based anime, but also it kinda saved the slice of life and romance genres in my mind because it was simply great and extremely well done and unknown. Not a lot of people know this for whatever reason because it's great, man. Stop watching that other bullshit with Nanamika and Nanami-kun. I don't know how it's called. You know, it's basically hentai, but barely not. Watch this. It's amazing. It's cute. It's a 9.5 out of 10, but in my mind it could easily be a 10. It's just there's a little difference there about how I feel. So you, as people of the world and my viewers, you can consider it a 9.5 out of 10. Now, another flashback. Do you remember in Blue Submarine here? I said I wanted to find this hidden gem that not a lot of people have watched, but it was simply amazing and very well done. Well, I find it in the next entry, which is Memories. Memories is practically a collection of movies, 3 movies in total to be honest, and it was great. If it was great, you might ask, why is the rating like that? I'll tell you when we get there. We aren't in the rating yet now, are we? The animation was great. It had that older type of art style, and actually in every movie the art style kinda changes, which you know I really liked that. Especially you can see the difference in the third and the last movie, and also the theme and the plot and the genres changed per movie. I don't wanna call them movies because I don't put movies here, but you know, it is one of those instances where you see, and it's because it's not a series, you see part of the world without needing an explanation of it. You see a snapshot. Nobody's taking you by the hand and is trying to explain to you quite how it understands. It gives you enough information to understand what's happening around you, and what the protagonist don't know what's happening around them, you also don't know. You know, it's very masterfully done. The second part or movie was definitely the weakest. It had a more comical pop view on it and how it was treated, and every single person there acted stupid, and I wasn't really a big fan of it. So yeah, about the rating. The first movie was absolutely amazing. I rate it a 10 out of 10. Amazing. The second one is 6. It's barely enjoyable for me. And the third one, an 8. I can see, though, other people not really liking the third movie, as it has a very surreal thematology to it. And you don't really know what's happening, but they are my type of tea. Yes, I really liked the first movie, as I said, so much so as to have it as my background in my desktop. So yeah, big fan. Yay, Slater, I say. Next up, we've got Vampire in the Garden.
もう嫌だ。こんな世界。
Again, a shorter anime. I think it's like 4 out of 5. Yeah, there are 5 episodes. Again, we were talking with a girl, and she asked me, do you know a good, lesbian anime? How did I say it? Like FLF, yeah, representation anime. You know how there is, for example, Yuri On Ice for MLM, multi-level marketing. And I really couldn't think of anything good that wasn't sexualized or objectifying the girls. But this is the one, and it was really great. They really had a lot of chemistry, and I really loved them, and they were interesting as characters. Anyway, a lot of scenes remind me of Ghibli. It could be easily a long movie with some stuff cut out, and it could be amazing. They had a great dynamic, as I said, great characters. You don't meet often these types of characters with this type of growth. And they played off of each other very, very well. It was very nice to see them interact. I wish it was a bit longer so we could dive a bit deeper in the more of the world building of the characters, of the people close to the characters, but I understand why it has the length that it has. Because, sometimes, as I said, before, sometimes you don't need to know everything about the world. You can just enjoy it as it is. And I was watching the last 2 episodes actually on TV, through Netflix, of course. And at the end of the 4th episode, I was like, yeah, I would give it a generous 8. I would rate it 8. But the last episode was a masterpiece, honestly. It was so amazing, so full of feelings. The tweet, amazing. Again, it is very short, definitely worth watching. So it's a 9 out of 10. It could be a 10, it could be a 9. No, it could not be a 10. It doesn't feel like a 10. It could be a 9.5. But I couldn't just ignore that the previous episodes weren't as impactful as the last, and so that's how the rating came. Whew. Next one, we've got Dororo. A straight up masterpiece from the beginning to the ending. If you remember when I talked about Sword Guy, I said that there was a lot of potential, and if it wanted and if it could be very, very good. And the gap that the Sword Guy made in my mind and birth to some wants from an anime, Dororo, the anime, really filled them from me, which is great, man. It was very satisfying. What do I write? Everything. A straight up reading without expression one, that would be funny. It does something that I think should be more common in general in film and visual media. I don't know. Anyway, there's this rule that I don't know if it's a rule. I just watch some stuff and I make stuff up. Okay, so I don't know if it's true, but I think it's true because I've watched some people talk about it. It's a rule about information is that don't show any information that they don't need. The viewers, when you're making something, don't give them information that don't need in general, and only give them what they need. And there's this saying, I think, that's like, if somebody shows a gun in a movie, for example, this gun has to be shot at some point. Not shot, to go pee-pee, And it does it very, very well, especially in the last few episodes, that everything is tied together with a very nice bow. Again, there's no irrelevant info, and it's really impressive to see how not only what they go through, the character shapes them to what they eventually become, but I was really impressed by how much their backstory actually shaped them. And it makes sense when you talk about it, but I don't feel it is as well used. That was such a nice little thing I said. Wow, I'm a poet there, I say. And it was extremely well done, man, especially in the last few episodes, which obviously are gonna be the more intense. Every second was a masterpiece. There are from the midway on, I think, there are some few episodes where the quality really, really drops. It's noticeable, but it gets fixed when it's time for the beginning of the finale. So that's a relief, man, because at some point it was really bad compared to what it was. Also has that element of cruelty and of pain and of body horror that I really liked, which also Sword Guy had, and I really liked it in Sword Guy, but again, Sword Guy was shit. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. I know there won't be any more seasons, but it's definitely an anime one day I will rewatch, definitely, because it's amazing. Yeah. Next up we've got Saint Young Men.
めた人、ブッダ、神の子、イエス。ゴミは分別しなきゃダメ。
Well, I've seen that around a lot on TikTok and stuff. It is basically a movie. How dare you? Wait. It is basically a movie, but it's okay, thanks. But it consists of little smaller adventures, let's say, and plots, which makes me feel like it was a series and they just shrinked it into a movie. Which, fair, I'm not complaining. yeah, it's Jesus and it's Buddhas and they go to their day-to-day life. It's nice, there's some very funny moments, but if you've watched like, a handful of clips off of TikTok, you won't see anything new in it. It's not bad for passing the time, but it's not something great. Considering the plot and the premise, it was kind of underwhelming. It is wholesome, but there's not a lot of stuff there. So it's a 6 out of 10. It was a good passing of time. That's all. Next up we've got Drifting Dragons. Again, this anime didn't have the best of animations. I think it's made by the same studio that made the Ronya the Robber's Daughter. Which, it's not the best, but it's not. Yeah, I guess it's not the best, but it's not for me. I've got worse now. I've got Ninja Collection. Everything is okay. Okay. It's from the same video. Yeah, I said that. It's not me. It is. I like how they make about the animation. I like how they make the creatures, especially the dragons, in this situation. But yeah, the plot and story is great, but it's grounded, but in a good way. It really grabs your attention, but it's not something most of the time that it's very intense. It's more passive and more slice of lifey, Yeah, it could be it's an 8.5 out of 10. It could be a 9. But yeah. And from what I've seen about comments in general on the internet about this, that aren't about the animation, in the plot itself, the protagonists and the main team that we follow, they are basically whalers just for dragons. They have a name, I don't remember. And a lot of people said that it's a glorification of whalers and all the animal abuse that comes with it, which I think is a very fair comment to make. But I don't think, in my opinion, it glorifies the job. It just shows it through a fantasy lens. And the whaling, of course, it is a part of human history. Whether we like it or not, I'm not a fan of animal abuse either, but I cannot just ignore the fact that it happened. Should all heavy matters be made into anime? No, of course not. But it depends, I think, to the individual, whether they'll find it off-putting or not. For the most time, I didn't. There were some times that I felt uncomfortable. But yeah, yeah, I'm sorry for that. Next up, then, we've got Ghost Stories.
When he died, I was so sad that I would never hear that voice again. His laugh. His funny little requests.
Touch me.
His reprimands.
Touch me harder.
Shirotami, please forgive me for bringing you back to life. I know now that it could never work between us. As much as we wanted to, it could never be. Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
If you don't know, first of all, don't watch this in sub. All its worth comes from the dub. It's so funny though. There are the dub, just so you know, from the backstory, from what I know, from what I've been told. So if it's not true, I'm sorry. Getaway Car. It bombed in Japan, and the dubbing company bought it for really cheap and told them, yeah, I'll do whatever I want. And basically, the dub has become a parody of the original and the genre, ghost hunting kids and stuff. It's very funny because the way they say it doesn't come. You cannot see it quite coming, and it is somehow tied to the plot, or they slightly change the plot. By today's standards, some parts of the humor is offensive, but if you don't quite think about it, it's really, really enjoyable. It's at times I had to pause and laugh. Despite all that, there's not much more to it. So yeah, it's a 7.10. A 7 out of 10. But I think it's worth watching, man. It's kinda long. It's longer than I would like. It's 20 episodes. I did not watch all of them, but some of them are great. Most of them are great. Yeah. Next, speaking of greatness, man. Next up we've got Chainsaw Man. Maybe the most awaited anime ever. I really loved the animation, the characters, the plot, how things became, man. Their wants and what motivates them are understandable, and I got brainrot from like the first episode. Really, really loved it. The way the characters act is kind of weird at first, but everyone is not well mentally, and it is expressed within the series itself. But the way they act and the way they bond sucks you into the series even harder. And when you see everyone, I don't mean it with the gravity that I'm about to say it, but everyone is kind of a shit person, It's not. You have to watch it to know, okay? But when you see them actually form human connections, it's really, really great. It's a 10 out of 10. Yeah, yes. And what I actually finished while watching all this, I watched another anime. It was a bit longer than the rest. And I finished it just before Chainsaw Man, was Bleach. I have a story. I had a weird relationship with Bleach. I have expressed it in other videos, but I will make a big Bleach video in the following months where I will talk about it in great length. So I started watching it because I want to complete this childhood dream I had of watching and completing Bleach. There's at some point, first of all, it is a product of its age, and it is especially viewed in the first few arcs or seasons. There are things that today are considered very stereotypical and bad. But you grow to like them, I guess, or just ignore them at some points. But at most points, it's very addicting and intense, and watching, it can be predictable, but it's not that often. It doesn't hurt that much. the one thing that suits Bleach is Bleach, and it has the very bad habit. We're talking about the 2004 Bleach here, not the remade. I'm gonna talk about this in the big Bleach review. It kinda shoots its own leg, with its pacing, especially of the fillers. Out of all the fillers, there's one that is good, and I think they're like 5 or 6 arcs, filler arcs, but there are a lot of filler episodes, one-offs and such. And the placement of those fillers often kills the hype it has worked hard to create. So, as somebody that has watched most of the fillers, if you decide to watch the old Bleach and you are here for the advice that I will give you now, please spare yourself, skip the fillers. You might be like me at the beginning of this and say, I wanna watch the entirety of Bleach. Fillers rarely interact with the main story, maybe in a flashback, and it's dismissible at best. At worst, sorry. And at the end of the day, this is the best advice that I found online. Skip all the fillers, finish the canon, let's say Bleach, not canon, the non-filler episodes. And at the end, if you need more Bleach, those fillers are gonna be there and you can go back and watch them. If you wanna see Bleach just to watch the main plot of Bleach, skip the fillers. It gets a 9 out of 10. It could be easily an infinite out of 10, but I cannot not judge it without its fillers because it is part of the anime. And the first half, the first 2/3 about, at some points it can be a chore to go through. But wait up for in a few months, I guess, for a big Bleach review. Now, what I am currently watching, a sequel of anime that I have watched and I have talked before will not be here, but brand new anime here. We got Fire Force. This is on a pause because I started watching another one, but from the start the whole story and conspiracy has already started, so I'm very glad it didn't have a slow start, so that's great. Yeah, and I really can't wait. Yeah, that's all. I for a lot of them, for this one, the next one, I don't think I've gone to the main meat yet. I know for Fire Force. Next up we've got Monster, another, classic. Every single episode is great. It's amazing. It's very well made and it feels like a live action series, but in a good way. And yeah, I really like it. And again, this was also on a pause, and I will watch it either at the same time or after Fire Force. But yeah, I really liked it. Next up, Blue Lock. It was released the past season, I think. It's basically soccer but with a lot of Danganronpa elements in it, which I really like Danganronpa, so I don't mind. The characters are really fun. I've watched like half of it. I've watched 11 episodes out of the 12 that will eventually be released. The premise is relatively simple, but it's very interesting as it goes on, it gets more complex. And lastly, we've got From the New World. This was suggested to me and I had never heard of it, but in every single aspect it's amazing. It's a masterpiece. I am absolutely mesmerized with it. I love it so much. I think I have 5 or 6 episodes left, but it's really good, really good. And that was all, everyone. Thank you very much for being patient with me. I know it will not be up for a while because I do have to edit it, but I've watched a lot of anime this year. Some of them short, some of them longer. It was fun, it was nice. I watched the majority of them. It was really, really good. You're more than welcome to let me know what you've watched this year. What do you think about the anime that I have watched? You can suggest me new anime. Who knows? You could have your suggested anime me to watch it. You'll find out next December maybe. Yeah, and really thank you for watching. This took a while to make, man. It's gonna be a long episode, dare I say. And thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.